We are into picks and bans here for the second game. Locked and loaded, ready to go. Fnatic come in, and they are now on red side. Tricked have chosen blue off the back of their first loss in this series. And it was a pretty quick loss. This is Fnatic really coming out swinging hard in that first game, looking like they're firing on all cylinders, like we said, and hopefully trying to secure themselves a group stage spot in the European Masters this time round, as of course they knocked out in the play-ins last time.
Now that they have blue side as well, they kind of open up themselves more for more of these target bans as well. I think they struggled a lot to deal with the Diana. It seemed like they did not know how to shut it down in the early game, and once we came to the mid game, they just struggled because it enabled the Yasuo composition as well. So there we go.
There
you
is.
finally have blue side yourself. You get to target ban a bit more, and there's still a lot of OPs that you need to think about as well. The Varus was first picked beforehand. I don't think it did too much. It was more the combination with the Trick, with the Thresh and the Viego being up. So I think there's a lot of options for Trick to first pick, as we are guaranteed one of these OPs to be up. So it's just going to be curious to see what they are prioritizing for their next composition now.
In my opinion, the fact that Trick banned Ashe in the previous one, to me, it just screamed Kalista. It just screamed that Voxnate and Lucky want to play more aggressive in their laning phase. They want to get that more proactivity into the early game, and then it ended up being the Aphelios threat, which is the ever-scaling late-game bot lane they wanted to have. I'm not mad with this, but I just want them to have a little bit pressure when it comes to that bot lane, because we've been talking about them. We've been saying that Trick can play throughout every single lane if they wish to, and now they have the chance to. If you lock in the Devours, Taxa could potentially go towards the Rumble as well, which is pretty huge right here. They can choose to also go with the Kalista, and there's plenty of supports to follow up and choose to.
We'll see. Tricked have got that pick of the litter for that first.
It's gonna be a marksman, apparently. I don't know.
I mean, we've got Thresh up, we have Viego up, we have a lot of those power picks that were previously not available for them, and honestly, you know, Viego is a fair lock-in. I think Tricked have done well with Viego in the past, and they will take it as their first pick.
It does give over Varus together with Thresh, though, if that's a bot lane that Fnatic wants to get for themselves. Obviously, they had a lot of priority on Leona. They did not mind picking that support champion into the Thresh. So I think there's still a lot of viable champions for you up here. I think you grab the Varus 100%. Just seems like it was unrivaled as an AD carry on, even though he was pushed in the early game later. And then you can either decide to blind pick that Leona or the Thresh, or you could just choose to go for that third pick instead. So it's going to be the Trundle to come through as well. You save the counter pick for the support. So Fnatic Rising still getting what they want here.
Yeah, and I think it's most likely going to be something like, I mean, here I'm thinking like Kalista Nautilus. It has to be, you need something that can play a little bit more aggressive, something that can get around the pillar, something that will not get too much about the Nautilus when it comes to the ADC. Oh, I don't know. They show the Ziggs as well. Ziggs is pretty good versus the Varus. If they want to put it down in the hands of the Voxnate, they can play it mid for Paulson as well, but it does pretty well into the Varus. It does pretty well into the Trundle as well. You put down the pillar, W from the Ziggs, and you can get away. So maybe they can pair it up with a Thresh right here, and then they can either choose to put the Ziggs in the mid and have it as a flex, or just take it down board with a Thresh.
Well, we've seen Paulson play quite a lot of Ziggs, I think, throughout this split, and that's going to be Tahm Kench that gets locked in as well. So Tahm Kench Ziggs, I mean, Tricked have certainly shifted gears here in this draft.
I mean, technically speaking, that Tahm Kench can be a triple flex. We've seen it in the mid lane in other regions. We've seen it in the top lane, and obviously support as well. So it's not too sure just yet where this one will be headed. But from the side of Fnatic, once again, they have now shown their cards. They don't have too much Thresh priority. Rocks on this Leona just seems to be the go for Fnatic, and arguably so. He had a great showing in the first game, so it makes a lot of sense. But now from the side of Trick, you would argue that they are lacking solo laners here, and the same from Fnatic. So that looks like that's going to be a ban course for this second ban phase.
I think a very easy thing for Fnatic right here is that they could also paint down the ADC pool. They can ban out the Aphelios, try to force them Voxnate into something like a Ziggs, or try to force them to take the Ziggs down in the bot lane, where I'm kind of scratching my head because I think, I'm sure Lucky has played it before in the Singularity series, so I'm almost 100% sure that this Tahm Kench will end up down the bot lane. It will be no problem for Leona and Varus to deal with. Now, the problem is, you're starting again to form a front to back with the Tahm Kench and with the Ziggs that wants to push out waves. What are you going to choose to round it up with? Because yes, Ziggs has a bomb, but you need some sort of wombo combo. You didn't choose the Leona, which is usually what they will choose in the LCK to pair up with the Ziggs. Again, something like the Wukong, which is banned, comes to mind. Something like the Malphite, which I don't think Madley is like a big fan of, comes to mind as well.
I'm a big fan when you put Ziggs down in the bottom lane and you actually treat it as a kind of weak side. I know there's a lot of people out there that likes to play for the Ziggs, especially because you get the satchel charge. But I'm a big advocate for actually just having him wave clear, let the support run up top side, and just play for the top side instead. And then when you need it, when you have gained a gold lead at the top side of the map, you can start moving the Ziggs around with the satchel charge for a lot of those platings. But now from the side of Fnatic, a blind pick will have to come through. What we saw earlier from Trick was that control mage blind pick to come through. Could be something we could see from the side of Dale if they want to play the top side instead. But now with Renekton now being left open, is a flex, technically speaking, for the mid lane and for the top side as well. So we still don't know where this Renekton will go, but we know both mid laners or both laners from Fnatic have had no issues playing this champion in the past.
If this is Aiden Voxney Ziggs, I wouldn't necessarily want to see another AP champion being picked on the Trick lineup, because it kind of ruins how strong Ziggs is and how much damage he does. And having like a pseudo tank in the likes of the Renekton that can go towards the stairs and grab some defenses. You probably are going to have Solari coming in from Leona. The Trundle will be like a heavy tank later on in the game. You sort of tone down the lots of damage that Ziggs will do if you're not itemized towards AP that much. And now you have two very strong mages, both AP. Could be quite easy to be itemized versus.
Ooh, it's an Urgot that gets locked in here for Madley. So a very, you don't see drafts like this every day for Tricked. And it will be them voxing the Ziggs, but that is going to be Deja logging in the Twisted Fate. So we're looking to influence the map as much as possible. But what do we make of this combo? I went to Trouble last time round. I'll come to you, Gulborg, this time round as we sort of work our way towards this game. What do you make of Tricked and Fnatic's comp as we head towards our second game?
I mean, I think it's a no-brainer that it's very easy for Fnatic to play the map. They have a lot of ground to play with as well. You have a pillar, you got the Chains of Corruption and the arrows as well. You got the cards as well to Twisted Fate. I think this game can be a bit easier for them to pilot as well. They have a lot of easy engagement. From the side of Trick, though, I'm actually not sure what to make of it just yet. They obviously have some side lanes they can play for with the Urgot and Ryze and the Ziggs. But to me, it's like, it's new Tahm Kench, it's Urgot, it's champions I haven't seen in a while. I'm actually struggling to see how they will pilot it completely.
I believe that Urgot can win a lot of the melee matchups. I think he's doing quite okay versus the Renekton. One of the few champions that does okay into the Renekton. What really I struggle to understand is, again, what is Trick trying to achieve with this composition? It's really hard to play. Yes, you have a Ziggs that permaclears. Yes, you have a Ryze that permaclears. What is your end game? What is your plan? Are you choosing to go on the 1-3-1 route where you have the Ryze and the Urgot split pushing, and then you have the Ziggs permanently wave clearing on the 3-man stack, which is something that they can do. But then Fnatic replied with a global. They have the Twisted Fate. So wherever you think you're actually playing 1-3-1, suddenly another person joins and your side laner dies, and that means numbers advantage for the sort of Fnatic. So again, I think that Fnatic Rising have come out ahead in this draft, and I feel like they have much more ease of execution in their composition.
I feel like it's a little unorthodox what we're seeing from Tricks here, but maybe after that first game, unorthodox is what they need to give themselves a chance to get back into the series. We'll have to see. It could be a level series. We could be looking at Fnatic being one game away from that European Masters group stage spot and the winners of the NLC. Going to hand it over to Hiprain and Orcs for our second game of this series.
Thank you very much, guys, and we're getting ready to go into game number 2. Fnatic honestly coming out of the gates on fire in our first game of this best of 5 as we take to the rift. Sides have been swapped, drafts have been shaken up, but there's a couple of things that I really liked at the desk hit on. First of all, the amount of AP that Tricked are running. Itemization and defensives should be somewhat easier for the side of Fnatic to play around. And another thing was unlocking the Tahm Kench to be able to move around because the Ziggs can play the weak side, but then a Twisted Fate gets locked in, which means he has the capability to kind of match Lucky, who if he tries to move around the map a little bit too much, or if Lucky tries to go into one lane, Dale could just go to the other side of the map. It's going to be a really interesting game.
Yeah, I think that there's something to be said for the fact that Tricked has a Ryze, right? We can kind of match that global element. Now, to hold this thought and see if Trick actually pulls something off and doesn't invade, but I think they're just gonna have to back away. I think for me, Fnatic's composition, spikes early, spikes hard, mid game's pretty strong as well, and they have lanes they can play through, right? You know, Renekton, level 1, maybe not as much trading power into the Urgot, but to be honest, Urgot's not exactly the strongest level 1 champion either. Both of them kind of spiking a lot more at level 3. But I think Urgot should have control of the lane early. Like mid lane, Ryze needs a bit to get going. Bot lane, like Ryze going to have control in the early levels. You have a Trundle who can basically stat check like every jungler in the game for the most part. Fnatic Rising, it's really on them to set the pace, and we saw that in that first game how they can set the pace really effectively. So I'm a bit concerned for Trick because of that. In terms of what the composition is going to do later on, they have really strong scaling. You know, they have good single target damage execution on the back of, you know, this Urgot, on the back of the Ryze, but also like some long range poke with the Zig, some good AoE, and they'll generally be playing similarly as they wanted to last game, which is sort of kite in front to back, using the Zig's long range poke though this time. But ultimately, I just think this should be a 2-0 for Fnatic Rising if they play their comp correctly.
It should be, as Madly flips Pride back, but Pride has that level advantage, so once that Q comes back up, it's full fury. It's going to do a lot of damage and a nice old heal for Pride. He closes out the trade in the end of the day, so Madly able to do an okay job of holding himself up on that front. As bot lane, as expected, Fnatic don't have complete priority, but Tricks as well, not really hard pushing their advantage. It's the end of the world if they do find the lockdown onto Dem Voxney. They do have Lucky about, but remember, this is pre-change or post-changes. Tahm Kench, as he finds himself an abyssal voyage towards Lucky, he flashes him forwards, finds the lockdown, and that is first blood for Dem Voxney on the Ziggs.
Yeah, just getting gapped, honestly, bot lane. I think the big thing here is that with Tahm Kench, he's not the same as old Tahm Kench, where it's like, okay, you know, you engage onto my AD carry, and then Tahm Kench just eats them. The thing with Tahm Kench now is he can just literally solo kill you. He does so much damage.
Card timed out for Dale there. That could have been a very different play if the card was up. He's able to get away from the gank, but he burnt his flash crucially, which is, you know, nice for the side of Trick because Ryze, like you said, needs some time. Needs to get some items under his belt before he's really starting to kind of take over the game as that machine gun mage.
And I think it's kind of the talking point across the map for Trick, where they kind of need items on a lot of their players, need some levels. And so this is kind of what you expect from Fnatic Rising. They can just push in and do literally whatever they want, and there's very little recourse. They're going to keep in here, but they're not... they're looking.
Oh, they got a flash forward for Maxi. Maxi's going to flash out himself as Paulson comes in with a lockdown. The gold card's there, but that is the form stolen away. And now Dayo, remember, no flash. The pillar will lock him in place. And Fnatic, they needed to set the pace this game, but Trick are the ones being proactive, and they're the ones punishing Fnatic.
Yeah, honestly, just completely botched it. And I think the critical thing there was Pride was split from the rest of them. And so Fnatic Rising were like, let's get out. We need to get away. We can't fight. And because of that divide, they didn't actually look to use their strength to contest. And now things are looking pretty bad for Fnatic Rising, given all those early kills.
Going to be able to pick up the crab, but Fnatic, they're not donezo here. They're looking for Taxa. The new Lucky was about. The pillar goes down, and now Rux is going to have to flash the wall. No, he's looking for the Zenith Blade turn. Can't quite hit it, but Dejal's making his way forward with that gold card. Going to look for the lockdown onto at least somebody, and it's going to be Lucky. Fnatic have found one. They're going to make it two, just like that. Gifting the kills over to Bean as well. He carried game number 1, and he's starting off this one with a double kill as well. Fnatic playing beautifully to come back from a bit of a fumble on that blue side. And now then, Voxney, I think you might be toast, my friend. You can put the statue, but you can only send them so far. Bean is on a killing spree right now, but the Zenith Blade will lock him in place. Is able to flash away. They're stealing away some stats, and he's got the red buff, so Pride is sliding his way forward. Fnatic have done it again. They fumble, and they just bounce back beautifully.
And this is more what I expected from Fnatic Rising, right? Especially with the Trundle. This champion is so strong early, especially into a Viego who's on the melee range champion. You just chomp him, you steal all his AD, you do a ton of damage. It's perfect snowball in these scenarios. And again, Bean is the big recipient of all these kills. And here, it's essentially a 4v4. And the difference is Fnatic are grouped together, they're in a position to fight. And they're so good at just going target by target. Stun card goes down, we kill Lucky. We then move on to the next. They have really good single target execution with their composition, and it's so good in these early skirmishes. You throw down the CC, you burst the target, you move on to the next. And even with, you know, seeing Taxa turn this one around a little bit, it's just not quite enough. And the big thing is pre-6, this is actually one of the weaknesses of Viego before level 6. There's no way to get you out of your passive, right? He's gone with Leona. He puts down his combo. He is now pretty useless, and there's no way from just to press R and jump out again, which is why in this situation, he's actually not able to do more than just get that kill. And with that, Fnatic, yes, they made a mistake at the top side. They have sort of pulled themselves into a good spot, but I still want to see this continued because Trick do spike kind of hard in that sort of mid-game point where they get a lot of strength.
Absolutely right. So Dragon number 1 is going to get picked up here by Fnatic. Moving their bot side over to be able to pick that one up. You got the serrated Dirk now finished up onto Bean. And that double longsword of the Tear of the Goddess stacking up. Dayor has to play careful, doesn't have that flash, and Taxa is looking for him. The realm warping in. Gold card charge, dodges out on the Spectral Maw, but instantly caught out by the Rune Prison. He's trying to buy some space, some freedom, as Tax is taking quite a few tower shots. The Ignite won't burn him low enough to die. But Dayor, some fancy feet work there, able to get away unpunished.
It's footwork, Jake, not feet work.
Feet work. He's
His feet did work.
yeah, exactly.
You can go with that one. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice gank attempt. I like that they're trying to punish Dayor, who didn't have flash. But again, these carries aren't really at the point where they're spiking right now. Paulson just doesn't really have the damage at this point. And I think that's kind of the thing, is that Trick are finding these windows. And I like that they punished that topside play when I felt like they wouldn't come out ahead, but they found the window. But they still have to be respectful. Fnatic Rising definitely having more agency now. And the one-item spikes are really significant for Fnatic Rising. Like, Divine Sundra on Trundle is pretty insane. On top of that, like, Bean, when he gets that one item with, whether it's the Duskblade, I think he went last game, puts him in a really strong position. That's where things are a bit scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll keep our eyes on when those items do come in. We can see that Duskblade pretty close here for Bean. He's already got the Warhammer, and that's
3 kills will do that.
Pardon, sorry?
3 kills will do that.
Yeah, yeah, close. True. Yeah, to be fair.
It's not too bad.
Sometimes I have the game sound so loud, but if loads of abilities are going off at once, I just can't hear what you're saying. It's a tactic. It's deliberate. Anyway, they're looking to try and find themselves a kill onto the Trundle. Able to do so, easy as. Dayor does find a gold card onto Lucky, but not going to be enough. That's a nice and easy kill there for Trick. So Trick to firing back in this game is not quite the same stakes we saw in game number 1. But Fnatic found one good fight and just accelerated the gold lead from there.
I think Tricks have looked better so far this game. Fnatic have the composition that enables them to very easily win these fights, but Trick are challenging them, and it's coming out successfully. Like, in that mid-play, this was Fnatic Rising trying to commit to something when they didn't have the extra members. It was Trick who assigned sort of the support that we had Lucky. Rux and Bean hadn't moved over yet, and still, it's almost like Fnatic Rising got a bit overconfident from that game 1. Now I'm setting things up well. And again, if Trick have the better early game, the better mid game, they will hold up really well as this game keeps going on. I feel really confident in them in the later stages. So Fnatic, the onus is on them to find the momentum, but the Herald has now been taken off the table, and that's in Trick's hands to sort of play with. They have moved Dayor down to the bot side, actually put Bean and Rux in the mid lane. It's pretty interesting. It may just be this temporary setup. Just I think I would want to see them reset and put Dayor back in the mid lane, because you have that Destiny. You want to play for that to sort of impact the map still.
Yeah, I was actually going to hit on the Destiny as well, because where are we going to see it get used by Dayor? So he obviously picked this pick to be able to impact the map. And so far, it's been relatively limited from him. A lot of the action was on that bot side of the map when Bean got that triple kill for Fnatic. So see what they can do with it. You got 3 kills onto Taxa for the side of Trick. The gold lead pretty close at this point, but Tricks are the ones ahead in gold. And Fnatic, like we said over and over again, it is really on them to set the early tempo, the early pace of this game. Now, Duskblade has been finished up for Bean. That's that first of those major item spikes that you were hitting on Orcs. And Lucky not got that level 6 mark, so they can lock down the Ziggs, and Bean is on a rampage, bringing members in. They do get a great pillar off, and the Destiny's being used. Lucky will fall. Double kill picked up for Bean. Can Rux find the Zenith Blade on the Pulsar? I don't think he can, but just like that, Fnatic pull the trigger and push their advantage, play around their powerful members in Bean.
And I think a big thing to talk about was, I mean, he actually hit level 5 just before that play, but Lucky was level 4 when Devoxing was level 8. And this is kind of going back to what Goldberg was talking about, how with the Ziggs, you can kind of just be self-sufficient, clear waves, and then you can have Lucky roam around the map. So we can see in this return, the critical thing is because Lucky's left and Roxanne isolated so much, he doesn't even have his level 6 available. If he has the E to pull the Ziggs away, this could go far better, right? You'd be able to save him, you'd allow your teammates to get in position. And on top of that, he dives into 4 members of Fnatic Rising. He's only level 5. He just instantly gets deleted on the back of that. So roaming's good, don't get me wrong, but you need some experience yourself. And I think Lucky missing out on that actually was a big factor in that play.
Yeah, absolutely. We can see Dragon spawning up as well, so we'll see where Fnatic, or if Fnatic decide to go for it. At the moment, they are looking to jump onto Den Voxney again, who has to flash. Rox does still have that solar flare coming up in a second's time as well. As Rift Herald does get summoned in the mid side, so they are just going to have to do his best to hold this, but we'll be losing a couple of places. Taxa cheekily tries to jump under the tower, just get a little bit of poke off onto the Twisted Fate. Bunch of plates traded over. Tricked are going to have to back off now, though, as Fnatic have rotated the very, very fed Varus over towards the mid side of the map, and a gold card into chains equals whoever that hits on is dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There's no one on the side of Tricked who can really withstand the damage coming out from Fnatic Rising. And I'm going to say, it's really important that Lucky gets level 6, because this sort of single target damage selection from Fnatic Rising, the fact that they can just kill any target, the ult from Tahm Kench actually limits the effectiveness of that, right? If you can ult, say, the Voxnate and save him from Chains of Corruption, from the gold card, it makes a huge difference. So I need to see Lucky getting some XP, because it's actually becoming a bit of an issue. He's 2 levels down on Rux at this
dead.
point.
Then Voxy just has to get in range to press W. Rux is going to do his best to try and stop him, but there it is. Plates over to Den Voxney.
Don't even need a second Herald. I mean, that's the power of the Ziggs, honestly, that the tower taking potential. And we do now see Trick leading that pressure top side, chunking out this top lane tower. And Lucky's level 6, which is great to see. Finally hit that point. So a bit more of a safety net for Den Voxney. And now you can go back to just ignoring waves and getting 0 XP, because realistically, you get level 6, job's a good one.
Yeah, that's all you need. Just the gold boys. Bean will be able to take maybe all of the plates here. He hasn't got long to work with, but he's a fairly large wave and he's a fairly fed boy. So Bean, yeah, should be able to pick this tower up with plates in his inventory. So a bunch of gold gifted over to Fnatic's AD carriers. As you can see, the individual gold leads right now is about to expand pretty heavily off the back of this one. 7,300 gold onto Bean as Den Voxney takes himself a tower. So he also is not completely useless. Bean has a lot of kills, but Den Voxney doing a good job of keeping somewhat of a pace with Fnatic's AD carry in this game.
My kind of concern, though, is similar to last game. When the Varus gets this fed, it really changes the dynamic of how team fights can play. Because, you know, obviously Den Voxney has poke, but it's actually a lot harder to hit than Bean's poke. The ultimate is probably the one that's okay. But, like, if you throw in bouncing bombs and Fnatic Rising are just eating them on repeat, then they're kind of trolling. But piercing arrows are very hard to dodge, right? Because they're such a fast projectile. And I feel like that may cause some issues, because Tricked are a team who don't have that much engage, right? Realistically, other than, like, Paxa or Madly just running in, or Lucky diving forwards, you don't have much. And again, I think all those targets will just get absolutely decimated. They'll get bursted down really quickly. So I'm a little bit concerned about how things will play out on the back of that. I feel like it's still very strong now, but they may be looking for this Twisted Fate.
He hasn't got flash again. He's going to get locked down. The Abyssal Voyage will knock him up. And Dayor honestly being bullied so hard this game by Tricked, and they're doing a great job of playing around him. On the other side of the map, Fnatic are going to try and answer with a top lane turret. But when you're racing versus a Ziggs, it's a race you don't win. Tricked are 3 towers to 1. It will be 2 shortly, but look at where the Ziggs is. He's got the satchel, and these turrets are worth even more gold. Pride can't hold all the waves. So Fnatic going to be a little bit behind on the play here. There is a Rift Herald spawning up, so they may look to answer out in that particular area, but a bunch of towers traded back and forth. But Tricked are the team that come out ahead at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I like the Trick they're using the Ziggs as a proactive tower taker instead of just a wave clear bot. They're moving them around, they're finding these opportunities to take off these structures, and it feels like the team are playing very well around that. And you can see here on the map, they pushed this wave in deep bot lane. Dior has to answer this, and now on the back of that, they can push in through the top and mid side, look to establish pressure there. They know that Fnatic Rising will be retreating there, because obviously they've just taken the Herald, and it means they can sort of re-establish that control and look to potentially threaten structures on this side of the map. And then once they push that wave in deep top, they can reset and do the same again on the bot side and play for this 3rd dragon.
Well, it's now on Fnatic. We talked about those one-item spikes for the Fnatic comp. They are now all got their one items. 2 for Bean, and they are looking for Madly. In comes everybody. The gold card, the exhaust, the Everfrost, the lockdown. Madly can't even move. Bean finds the kill. And Paulson, you got a lot of wave clear. You haven't got your frontliner anymore. Fnatic able to find that pick in a pretty decent time for them. 50 seconds until the Mountain Drake spawns up. As Fnatic summon themselves the Rift Herald here in the mid wave. And they're looking just to take this turret, open up the map a little bit more for themselves. But gonna take a little bit more. Rux flashes forward and gets Paulson to flash in response. Will stop him from being able to clear, and a great chains come down into that pillar combo, but there's the gobble, there's the gold card. They may just be turning around as the Taxers. Lucky, it's just eating oh so much damage. Dayor flashes forward, they get the gold card, they get the lockdown, and Paulson is just about alive for now, but he finally goes down. In comes the teleport, and this could be a problem for Madly. Into the gold card, into the lockdown, but Maxi now taking a lot of damage. He's got the fear beyond death. Can he make it work? Madly's going low. Madly gets healed up with the triumph, but they're able to find the kill, as then Voxney can't join into the fight. He has to run away. Fnatic just taking everything right now.
What a scrappy fight, and honestly, a bit messy from Trick there. They're set up to play towards the top side, left mid lane vulnerable. We see Madly get picked, we then see Paulson threatened. And the thing is, they were leaving things very late to reset to play for this dragon, and now they're in this mad rush to get there in time. It's still 3 seconds for Maxi to be up. The Voxney is just TPing in solo to secure the scuttle. But ultimately, Fnatic Rising are going to have all members on map first. You can see the fact that Madly's only just respawned with no teleport. Fnatic Rising are already moving over. And what Fnatic need to do is engage very quickly before Trick have 5 members strong.
Yeah, Rux is going to take a lot of poke on the way through from this Mountain Dragons. It does go for the reset. It's 4 members, like you said, haven't quite got their frontliner yet. Madly not here. Fnatic are looking to pull that trigger. Lucky caught out already. Over the wall they go. Into the solar flare, into the CC chain. Pride slices and dices, and Paulson is cut down. Fnatic find 2 just like that. It's very clear Fnatic have a read on what they need to do, because they just executed perfectly on what you said.
Yeah, really nice. Honestly, they knew it was a finite window. It was very small in which Madly wouldn't be there. And Tricked were just a bit overconfident. They stepped too far forwards. I think the mistake here is, although the concept of what they're doing, the push one side lane, then reset, go to the other side and push those 2 deep, it makes sense, but I think the mistake was the timing, right? Just before this dragon, it meant they ended up in this messy skirmish over here, and Fnatic really, it was a close one, in all honesty. We saw them Voxney join in late on the flank, but when you're put in this position where the enemy team already has 2 dragons, you need to be playing for the objective. You need to be playing for that and not coin flipping fights like these, which did end up pretty close overall, but the reset timings are what ended up favoring Fnatic Rising on this one. And now we're coming back. Destiny's looking to come in.
Yeah, Destiny for Dem. Voxney goes down. There's a gold card. There's a satchel, but he places it so wrong. Dem Voxney will fall as the Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't even clip Fnatic. Not going to be able to take the tower here, so they've only got a couple of caster minions with them, but they can strip away the jungle. They can get the lane state set up a little bit nicer for themselves, and more crucially, place some vision down to look for some picks. You can see Rux hiding over the wall in that brush as Paulson will be shoving up the top side, but Fnatic, they're not interested in playing towards the top side. They're playing mid and bot right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's how you should be playing the map, is one side of the map you're not really concerned about, and you play through the other 2 lanes. And you push aggressively, you control that quadrant. They do send Dayor to clear up the wave here, and the reason he can do that is because he has TP. So essentially, you think of this as Fnatic playing with 5 members on the bot side of the map, because Dayor at any time can just jump in. And as a result, Trick know they're behind, they have to respect that. So they are going to try and punish Dayor and cut off that lifeline for the team. But he's playing it safe. And so now Fnatic very aware they have a big numbers advantage, but they got that outer tower, that inner tower, that last one outside the base in the bot lane. They can now reset. They push this wave in deep bot, and they can move to the other side of the map, which importantly is the side of the map that has Baron as well.
Yeah. And the grudge has now been picked up, so being on 3 items. Then a pretty good spot. You can see Dayor is a gold card bot. He's got that rapid fire cannon in the building. It will be a second item once he's finished it up. So Fnatic, they're recognizing they're playing through Bean. They just need everyone to land the CC for him and make what you said are already fairly hard abilities to dodge, even more impossible to dodge.
Yeah, and again, it's a single target selection from Fnatic Rising is so good, right? You pick a target, you throw a stun card, maybe pillar behind them. You have Ruthless Predator, you have Rocks, you have Chains of Corruption. So many things that can just lock down a target, and then everyone just hits them. Boom, dead. Move to the next target. Rinse and repeat. Really, really simple to do. I think that's the thing, is that you don't win points in League of Legends for playing a complicated composition, right? You win points for destroying the enemy nexus and winning the game. Yeah. And I think Fnatic have given themselves easier tools to execute on than Tricked. I think Tricked, you know, they worked well with the Ziggs, but I think the comp is a lot more difficult to sort of find a way to be successful with. And they are kind of relying on, you know, these carries ramping up, being big threats in the team fights, and also playing very effectively, not stepping too far forwards, you just get destroyed, but also being in a position where your backline has space. And that's why I feel like things are quite difficult. But Fnatic, you know, they're just looking to continue this momentum. They haven't really done too much to lean towards that top side. There's a bit of vision down there, but it's a minute 30 until that dragon. This would be Mountain Soul. It gives a massive boost to Fnatic Rising. It slows down Trick scaling, essentially, because the extra shield means you need even more damage to overcome it. And you can see Trick already in position to try and control the area, but Fnatic can just grab mid prior, and now they can move through.
Yeah, they're going to bring everyone in. The Destiny will spot out absolutely the entire team. They're pulling it down, and it's going to be Madly caught out by the gold card. The Everfrost will lock him in place, and they're using a teleport to try and find some kind of a turnaround. As Taxa is going to look to kill Pride, but Pride's able to get away. And Bean is legendary with a snipe over the wall. Here comes the solar flare. Here comes the cavalry. Taxa gobbled up by Lucky. The shields are on, but the gold cards are coming in, and Fnatic have cut Tricked off. They have nowhere to go but up into the face of Fnatic Rising. Lucky tries to go for a swim, but the gold card lands and the shutdown is picked up there. It is like shooting fish in a barrel as Fnatic Rising give Bean a quadra kill.
You know, in films, when you have the group of bullies and normally the bullies' cronies like hold their arms and the bully just starts wailing into them, that was that fight for Fnatic Rising. And Bean was just lining up these shots while his teammates held them in place. Honestly, just it showed exactly how that composition functioned. And Tricked, they were caught in that not favorable position and then just got capitalized on. And you can see that here. And it's just follow Bean's arrows. He just picks off these targets. This one on Madly, fair play, blind, no setup. But every time his team are just playing, here's a bit of CC, okay, fire an arrow through them. Here's a bit of CC, okay, fire an arrow through them. It's that literally on repeat for pretty much the entire fight. And I mean, Bean must be having a whale of a time.
Oh, Bean must be having such a great series right now. You know, I talk about bad ninja movie fighting where you go in one after the other and just feed kills. This is synchronized swimming. This is just flawless execution from Fnatic. And Tricked are trying to contest. Pride is on that flank as just, again, the CC is so hard to walk through. There's so much Look at that arrow onto Demboxy from Bean. Oh no, it's so rough. Demboxy, he's out. He can't hang around anymore. One more stray arrow and he's dead.
It's a shame. I actually think if they had Destiny here, it's on cooldown still. Throwing that down to give Bean vision to fire some arrows would have been great. But they're now looking for Madly.
Yeah, bomb does hit onto a couple of members, but look who's on the flank. It's Dayor. Gonna dodge away on a bunch of stuff as Bean not gonna be able to find an arrow from that length. But Fnatic get themselves sold. 24 minutes on the clock. They're gonna look to go up towards the top side, reset and spend some gold.
Yep, gonna go for their buys, but honestly, not too much gold in the pocket because obviously didn't get a good fight there. I mean, but look at Bean. 4 items already. The Edge of Night to make things even more difficult. They're now playing towards this top side of the map. Baron is the next objectives on the card. And the thing is, you don't really have to do much off the back of that. I think Pride just gets out here.
He's sliced. He doesn't have the dice, but Paulson has the speed to run him down. Gets himself the Everfrost, and Pride could be in trouble. There's the ultimate. He's looking just for a quick turnaround. Big old heal. Slices away as well as Paulson. Don't think you're going to be able to catch him. They forced the ultimate, but ultimately one burn, and now he can just teleport back in. Everybody's coming forward. The arrows are down. The gold card, the flash. They look for the lockdown. Madly just teleports into the middle of Fnatic, and the Destiny from Dayor means he can just find gold card after gold card.
That's the
arrows are going to get channeled, and Bean's not even going to be able to land them because people are just liquefying to Fnatic right now.
Yep, they just get absolutely annihilated. And again, I don't actually fault the play from Tricked. I think going for that cross map, punishing the side laner so then you can group around Baron as 5, it makes sense. But yeah, they're just so far behind in terms of not only the Mountain Soul, but also the gold lead isn't insane, right? It's 4,000. That's big, don't get me wrong, but we saw much bigger last game. I think the critical thing is how much of that gold is on Bean and how relevant that is. If the rest of Fnatic don't have as much gold and just play CC bots, that's fine. And like you can see that across the gold there, you know, there's only minor differences between everyone else, but Bean is so substantially ahead of everyone in the game, and he's the one doing a massive portion of the damage. You can see the replay here. Again, CC comes down, you lock a target, the follow-up's there. It's just this on repeat, and it's beautiful Fnatic Rising.
And Bean has 100% kill participation for his team right now. 12-0-7, unkilled, almost full build. He has a serrated Dirk in his inventory, which will become an item. I'm not entirely sure which item he's going to go for. He's already got the Edge of Night. Maybe Ghostblade, maybe Collector. If he's really doing that much damage, that is a potential option for him.
Yeah, I mean, he has options. I feel like there's a range of them. Serpent's Fang even isn't terrible.
Oh, yeah, Serpent's Fang.
On Taxter, Lucky's obviously got his great health. There's choices now. They are trying to look for Rux here.
Yeah, they are indeed, but Maxi can come forward with the pillar, but may just throw Rux under the wayside here as here comes Bean looking for that turnaround. The arrow over the wall of the pulse is pretty heavy. Big solar flare is his dying breath. Fnatic kind of just let the support die there, but maybe that was a little on Rux. I honestly wasn't looking at the setup for that one as we were in a replay.
I think he overstepped into where Trick had vision. The team wasn't there to support him. And I think the critical thing is you have to watch the lanes, right? You have mid lane being pushed, bot lane being pushed, but no one was there on the side of Trick to respond. And now they're looking for this engage.
Looking for him, but look at the damage he's put down already. The arrow's coming down into the bomb. Bean's heavily chunked out, but here comes the turnaround. They get a lockdown, they get a shutdown. Fnatic have lost their carry. Dayo trying to run away. Everybody is chasing him down, but he's able to get away. Destiny's been used, and they're looking to see if they can find a quick turnaround. Dale's gold card will time out, and now Madly has to be a little bit careful as Pride looks to lock him down, and Fnatic looking for a quick turnaround, find themselves the gold card. But the minefield will slow Fnatic from finding anything else. Fnatic, good job to turn a bad situation into a less bad situation.
Yeah, but credit to Trick. It's the window you need. You find a pick, you look for the engage, and this was favorable to them in terms of gold. They take a load of Barons off Fnatic Rising, but also that 1,000 gold shutdown, I believe, went over to Paulson. So he's now going to be a lot more relevant in these fights. They will get this bot lane tower. It's not too much of a concern overall. Tricked, I feel like things were dire. Things were absolutely dire, but this was them handling it pretty well. And we can see they just commit instantly on a Bean. And actually, he doesn't get the arrow across more members than just Taxa. Gets instantly jumped upon. And as a Varus, you want to play from like 3 screens away. You don't want to be up in people's faces. And them getting on top of him pretty critical. And it is also he gets the 1,000 gold shutdown. But then I think Tricked overstepped a little bit. You have to respect the TF and his ability just to dive in. And again, even though Varus is the one who's incredibly strong, with the Baron Gold as well, Dayor and Pride are no slouches.
No, not at all. But Pride needs to be a little bit careful because Trick could look to run him down here. Got hiccups all of a sudden. God damn it. See if Fnatic are going to be able to hold. Looks like they can for now.
I think that's the thing. The Baron being stalled out and delayed, great for Trick. They put themselves in a really good position. They can now kind of just clear the waves. But they do have to set up for this Elder in a minute, and that's where things get a bit scary. If they can get on top of Bean, critically look, he has no flash. This is probably their best window. He's full build, he's not getting any stronger. If you win a fight here, the gold you get and the Elder are going to put you in a position to really get back into this game. Fnatic Rising, their comp spiked hard in the mid game. Things will start to get more difficult if they aren't able to close the game out.
See Tricked moving through. Rux has to be careful. He might find himself caught out here as he's satcheled into the team. Jumps for a quick turnaround. The Destiny's been used. The solar flares there, and Rux pulled in by the fear beyond death. Madly's able to find the kill, but those arrows are still doing some serious damage. Dayo actually jumps out as the Realm Warp comes in. Everybody party... What? No, they injured Madly. Madly's going down because he took the portal. A little bit trolled there. It's Fnatic trade out 1 for 1, but they trade support into a little bit more because there's the Gobble. Pride jumps over the wall, and this could just be the closing moments here for the side of Tricked. The arrows are doing oh so much work. Tax is so low. One more arrow will be enough to get it. And yes, Bean can find the kill. Lucky has to be oh so careful as a double kill picked up for Bean. Lucky goes down. Triple kill for Bean. Fnatic put down the pillar, but Demboxney should be able to survive for now.
Push is coming in though, and I think Fnatic Rising may just look to try and end off this. That TP is actually a little bit early. I would have liked to see them use it to keep the minions alive, because with this wave being cleared out, it might actually be hard for them to end.
Even
the
on the
wave's
fountain,
gone.
a lot of damage coming out from Denvoxney, and it looks like that is going to be it. They can't do much more.
Yeah, if you're going to end there, TP onto the minion when it's taking tower outgrowth. That way they can't kill it. You can quickly burn through the towers. Maybe you have a chance, right? I think with the spawns coming in, maybe the decision was a bit questionable either way, but still, not the best TP. But either way, Fnatic Rising, when Bean is untouched, he can dominate fights. And now his flash is coming back up. Victor TPing in.
Teleports on. It looks like the fight may look to break out. Chains on cooldown. Hiccups, goddammit, for the moment as we're hitting the climax of the fight. Fnatic Rising able to hold on for now, but they're looking for this engage. They want that one big fight, that one big arrow, as here comes Rux. The chains go over the wall, but they don't actually have Bean in range to really do any damage. And the Everfrost is fairly large, but Paulson with a stopwatch able to dodge away for the moment. Lucky will lose his life. Paulson next up, Fnatic find 2, and they send Trick packing. Elder Dragon be damned. Fnatic might not even need that one.
And they do, honestly. They just keep firing arrows, critical members. They'll take them down. They have the numbers advantage. You're looking for Madly here. Got to be a bit careful for Dayor, but he has a stun card available, and this should just be him going down.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of the crab, man.
The problem is, once again, the Zig's doing his job. Then Voxney thing out of the wave means they can't end once again. I think they just need to go for the Elder here.
Yeah, I think Fnatic a little baited in thinking they can end the game, but they can't. 32 minutes on the clock, and they are finally
17-1, by the way. It's easy to forget about it because he's just been picking up kills again and again in this fight. Tons of multi-kills. But 17-1, and now Taxter, they know he's here. He's got to try and steal this.
Bombs goes down. Taxer, can he make that miracle happen? Comes in with a Heartbreaker. It's going to be close. Elder has stolen Taxer with the hero play. He's burning down low, but he will survive.
Oh, what a misplay from Fnatic Rising. I mean, how does a team with this much CC let him get into the pit is all I'm asking. And again, I think a lot of it was the ult from Ziggs combined with the incidental damage. So damage from people who are trying to kill Taxter hitting the Baron allowed it to get low enough for him to smite. Just, I mean, why does everyone need to be in the pit? Why have you got all 5 members in the pit? Why do you not have Rux running interruption? Why do you not have Dayor running interruption? You don't need 5 members in the pit there. And that was misexecution for Fnatic Rising, which is going to buy time for Trick. Because remember, Iron's up, but Fnatic don't want to go for it because this is the best chance in the game for Trick to win a fight on the back of this Elder Dragon. You see the Destiny is going to come down just for some information, for some vision. They are now going to move towards that Baron. They think that Trick are far enough away for this to be rushed. If Trick challenged them on this, super scary. A Mega Inferno Bomb when you're in the Baron pit with the Elder burn, that's dangerous to deal with.
It's very dangerous, but it is going quick, and it looks like Trick aren't really aware. The vision's pretty lackluster. There's the bomb, but that should just be it. Baron Nashor picked up. The realm portal, whatever you call it, realm warp was used, but it's not going to be enough as the gold card can connect into the Heartbreaker. A lot of damage being thrown down onto Taxer, but he will be able to survive as he clears the wall.
Just a little bit sloppy from Trick. I feel like you're in this moment where you have all this power, you have all these tools. This is the moment where you should kind of be pushing out. And the fact that they kind of just let Fnatic get that Baron as a freebie. I mean, the problem with the Elder Dragon is it's not going to help you push, right? It's only going to help you fight, and Fnatic Rising kind of just chill and wait until it expires. So I think they're chilling.
I think they're probably chilling. Now, I mean, we're approaching like that kind of full build area, and this is where we said the game does get scarier for Fnatic, just because, you know, you've got a Ziggs, you've got Rise, they got a lot of damage. And yes, Bean is incredibly fed, but 4 items on Rise, he's only an item behind right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're hitting their points. Again, Bean's been full build for a long time. He ain't getting any stronger. And this virus is still going to be super relevant because of how the composition of Fnatic play, but it's allowed Trick carries to catch up. And now is the point where the Elder's timed out. Now Fnatic feel confident, start applying that pressure. They're playing over those top lanes. You can see that Paulson's answering that bot wave. So this is going to allow them to push in.
Paulson's going to try and clear through the wave, but Fnatic going to be able to start the siege up. This is the last tower outside of the Nexus tower. They're able to open up all 3 inhibitors. Now they need to close in on them, but they should be able to make short work of this mid lane one. Same for being on the top side of the map. And I think Fnatic... Wow, that's a big arrow. That's a big old arrow.
Certainly is. You know, he may not be getting any more items, but he was still doing an obscene amount of damage before, and that hasn't really changed at this point. You see Paulson hanging in the wings, but that's 3 inhibitors down. They still have the Baron buff to push the minions in.
That teleport to hold out for just a little bit longer. Madly will get him with the gold card, but these towers will very quickly be burning down. Destiny used. Everybody spotted out. Solar Flare goes a little bit wide. Only 1 turret stands between Fnatic and match point now. Another big arrow comes down.
Okay, so the super minions start coming though.
And this is when it gets oh so scary. Then Voxy has to flash away from the arrow. He just can't overstay. The Roam Wall comes in. Pride very, very low. This can be the fight. The Fear Beyond Death's been used and Madly will lose his life. Maxi's just ending the game. He's onto the towers. Fnatic take the fight while Maxi takes the base. Game number 2 going to Fnatic Rising.
And it was definitely a longer, more drawn-out one, and credit to Trick for making things so close when they were so far behind. But ultimately, this was a situation where there was just such a massive gold lead. I feel like the more proactive comp came out from Fnatic Rising. And on the back of that, this Varus, once again, became really hard to deal with. And there weren't the engage tools for Tricked, right? You kept seeing their engage was, let's realm warp Madly in. Oh, he dies instantly. Well, okay, I guess that's it. I think, for me, I actually didn't really like this draft in game 2 from Tricked. I think they had less agency. I think they had less tools to play with. It feels like Fnatic is setting the pace this game, and the Varus is clearly being a problem. So remove that if you're not going to pick something like Calista into it. And please, Trick, you're 2-0 down now. 1 more and you're out. Pick more agency and act on it, because I feel like this sort of play to scale strategy just is not working.
We're going to throw to a break. I got really mad hiccups right now, so we're going to throw to a break. I'm going to cure those, and when we come back, we'll have the analyst desk to talk a little bit more about their game. So we'll see you in a moment.